watching Geek Entertainment Television. I'm Violet Blue, and today we're at Green Apple Books in San Francisco with Brad Warner, the author of Zen Wrapped Karma Dipped in Chocolate, a trip through death, divorce, sex, and celebrity in search of the true Dharma. What I'd like to know is, why did you write this book?
Geez. I'm a Zen teacher, right? A Zen Master or something. If that's the colloquial sort of term.
So when you're a Zen master, does that mean you're like a Zen geek?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're deeply geeky to do that. And so I was going around the country talking to people about Zen and about how to sort of live their lives and help them or whatever you do as in this capacity. But meanwhile, having a very, very bad year. I'm giving you the very short version of what the book is about.
That's
My mom
fine.
died, my grandmother died, my marriage crumbled, and I lost my job, and a bunch of other stuff. And I wanted to kind of humanize the practice as well, because people think of it as this sort of a ivory tower thing, or not ivory tower even. They think of it as like guy on a mountain in Tibet thing, and it's not really that. It's for like your real life here and now.
What was that transition? Like, what drew you from old school punk rock into Zen?
Well, the same thing drew me to both. Because I grew up in the late 70s, early 80s in Ohio, and I was into rock music, but it seemed like real rock music was dead and gone by the time I grew up, because people were listening to Journey and Foreigner and all this. That stuff's got become hip now.
I know.
Which is weird to me. It's like, how can you're 25, how can you don't have to listen to Journey. Don't you know that, So I was drawn to punk rock, specifically hardcore, because it seemed to be real. It seemed to be true. And it seemed to be kind of asking questions and going in a direction that was relevant,
Right.
to life, whereas the rock music at the time didn't seem to be relevant. The punk rockers were very good at questioning society, but not very good at questioning themselves.
Right.
So I got into Buddhism around about the same time.
Interesting.
Just kind of by accident. I'd always had this interest in Eastern philosophy, and I took a class called Zen Buddhism at Kent State University. And it was eye-opening, because in Zen they're doing that. They're questioning themselves. You have to, you're directly questioning. You're saying, well, what is my role in this? How am I part of this thing? You can say, okay, society's fucked, but how am I participating in that? That's a really important question.
So basically taking like punk rock ethics and applying them to yourself and saying,
Yeah.
how am I challenging my own status quo?
Yeah, definitely, because we all have it.
When you meditate, do you like log on to like a higher place
Log
or
on
no?
to it. Log on.
Log on, no.
Yeah.
No, but what I'm really curious is how does technology shape and how does it help what you do as far as teaching people? Like, has it like helped you, or are there things that you're doing now that like technology is enabling that you wouldn't have been able to do before with your practice and with talking to people?
Well, yeah, I mean, the practice itself isn't very technical, I mean, technological. But I write a monthly column, I don't know if you call it blog or a column, for Suicide Girls website. Some traditional Buddhists have gotten upset about that. Actually, surprisingly few. I'm mostly getting a lot of support, but the people who are upset about it tend to be very vocal in their upset.
Of course.
So I've had a lot of heat from that, for writing Buddhism for what they consider to be a porn website.
What's with the Japanese horror movie marketing?
Well, for 14 years, I worked for a company that was founded by the guy who invented Godzilla. That's the easiest way. Yeah, so, and I was very interested in those kind of films for a long time. I was like really deeply geeky about that. Big Godzilla fan. And Ultraman is the
Yes.
it should be, yeah. I'm not going to assume people watching this know, but Ultraman is like a superhero show where you have a monster like a Godzilla type monster, and he attacks the city and Ultraman beats him up.
Right. You can pretty much estimate that everyone watching this show knows exactly what you're talking about.
So but that's Ultraman, you know, every story is pretty much the same. So I wrote this episode in which it takes place in a parallel universe where Ultraman is the bad guy who keeps attacking the city, and they keep having to construct a monster to get rid of Ultraman.
Oh, wow.
So that was the theme of it, and I guess they were worried that kids wouldn't understand that, and it was based on the old, there's a Star Trek episode like that, where Mr.
Right.
Spock's got a beard.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a rip-off of that.
But they thought the kids would be confused that there was a bad Ultraman all of a sudden.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for nice to be talked to.
Always prepare for a lynching.